Join us for the Paranormal Rockdown. We kick off the event Friday, July 18th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Main Street Music in Brooklyn, Wisconsin, where we feature bands Left on Red, Switchblade Saturdays, Etched in Embers, Fiction We Create, January, Again We Rise, and our headliner, Green Jelly. Saturday, July 19th, starting at 11 a.m. at Broadhead Manor in Broadhead, Wisconsin, we have our Paracon featuring Dave Schrader, Sam Beltrusis, Scotty Rourke, Dustin Perry via Zoom, Sarah Lamos, Nick Simons, Kenneth Drake, Stream Beacon TV, Dark Realm TV, and over 30 more great guests you won't want to miss. We have over 40 vendors, speakers, workshops, gallery readings, and so much more. A special thank you goes out to each of our sponsors. Get your tickets before they sell out at ParanormalRockdown.com, and we hope to see you at the Paranormal Rockdown.
Hello.
Hey, you got my favorite hat on.
Oh yeah. I just saw it in here somewhere.
There you
Welcome
go.
to PC Nightmares, and we got a good special guest tonight. As always, you pick good ones. Would you like to talk about anything you got going on right now before we start, or?
Well, I'm trying to go to as many Paracons as I can, support the network and my people, our podcasters. So we have the Connecticut Paracon coming up next weekend. Waterbury, Connecticut. If you are near, come on by. Everybody would love to see you. I mean, we have so many people coming. Then we have the next weekend, the Paranormal Rockdown, which I advertised also. And I love those guys. It's going to be cool too. And also Gettysburg's coming up, Deep South Paracon. We just got a lot of stuff going on. So,
cool.
Yeah. So come by, see some of the people that we represent, and come meet us. And but we have a great guest tonight. She was so nice and decided to, at the last minute, just come on and be with us. So,
Right on.
Yeah. You want to bring her on?
Kat Armstrong, right? I didn't butcher that, did I?
There she is.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I do a lot of things. So, first of all, I will be at Paranormal Rockdown, so I get to meet you in person, Gwen.
Yay! I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of the speakers at that. So, yeah.
See, I thought you might be, but yeah. I was like, I have seen so many people and so many commercials. I can't keep up with it.
Absolutely. So I'm Kat Armstrong. I've got my foot in the door on so many things. We'll start with my paranormal team is called Paranormal Exposures. Team was founded in 2021, but been investigating a lot longer than that under other teams and just separately. Been in the field doing equipment-based investigation since around 2010, 2011. Have had experiences my whole life. So it just kind of a intuitive connection since childhood. I do intuitive mediumship. I do readings and things like that for people as well. And then I also teach classes both in person and online for things like mirror scrying. I teach haunted objects classes, candle magic, moon phases, all kinds of metaphysical stuff. So just kind of all over the place, doing a lot of things. And then, of course, I'm a representative at a haunted location, Edinburgh Manor, for about 5 years now. And absolutely adore the place and have a million stories of that. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Busy lady.
Busy, yeah, it sounds like it. So, so you guys pretty busy then, like with cases, or do you?
So the team is more hobby based at this point. We do help at a lot of like public investigations. So we are very much about sharing the experiences and helping people have first time experiences. So like we did an event at Argo Hotel in Crofton, Nebraska earlier this year. And we basically were leading an event and sharing our equipment with people that had never done it before. So they would come out and have an experience at the place. We have helped out with investigations at another Iowa location called Horridge House, which is in Benton, Iowa. We help out with their events every single year for the last several years. And I also I'm a volunteer for them as well when they need somebody to back up to do, overnight check-ins and things like that for that location. We have helped at events at Broadhead Manor multiple times. I'm very good friends with the owner, Bill. Have a lot of things we do there. And then even this fall, we have another location that's not even open to investigate publicly, but they are going to be doing an event on October 11th. In fact, this will be the first time I'm talking about it. October 11th, we'll be helping out with a public investigation at historic Lenox College in Hopkinton, Iowa, which is not an open paranormal location. So this will be like a one chance to see the place and get to investigate it, which is pretty cool.
That's neat. That's really neat.
Yes.
Yeah, that is. So, now you said you do work with scrying. You said.
Yeah, so mirror scrying mostly. I do also teach water scrying, basically with the mirrors. In fact, I've got one of my favorite mirrors just hanging out back here behind me. Two of them hanging out behind me. Basically using black mirrors or other reflective surfaces to be able to communicate with spirit or get messages from your guides or things like that. So I have taught that at several paranormal conventions over the last few years. In fact, I'm doing a more advanced scrying workshop at Rockdown in 2 weeks. So that'll be fun. Going to bring out the concave and the convex mirrors that I've not ever taught with at Rockdown. So that'll be kind of fun.
I'm about to check that out. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's really awesome to see people that are so skeptical of things that are kind of scary and find out that they actually are able to do it and they can do it in a safe, protected manner rather than the chaos that some people think it is. It's kind of one of those things that has a lot of bad rap for being scary. Mirrors frighten a lot of people. And I'm here to kind of help people understand that there are ways to protect and make it safer, to try to use them for connections rather than going into it with a lot of fear. So
So you feel there's somewhat of caution to be had when doing that, you think?
There's caution to be had in every form of investigation. I find even the most basic of equipment, if you're not doing things in a protected manner, even if you're doing no equipment at all, there is a precaution that I feel should be taken in all senses of that, because there's many levels of energies that you could be communicating with. So
true. Not they're all not all of them are nice. So have good intentions. So, So have you ever had anything negative impact you from doing that ever? Like when you were getting into it or anything like that?
I usually set intentions pretty high. I teach everyone to set intentions high and then work down to your comfort level. As I said, I've been having experiences since childhood, so my comfort level is probably much lower than a lot of people. I can't say I've ever experienced any like the big D word demons. I have yet to ever experience anything like that. Um, I've had some encounters that are enough where you say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to put this away now. Close the session down. I teach it. Like a lot of people are so worried about, oh my gosh, what if I didn't close the mirror right? What if I didn't finish the thing correctly? You know, Ouija boards make that be scary for everybody too.
Right.
Kind of the same thing, but I kind of try to simplify it so people understand it better. I'm one of those lucky people. I'm pretty sure I'm an undiagnosed ADHD. It makes life so much fun. I'm never going to get the rhymes right. I'm not even going to remember my name half the time. So for me, when I teach a session of what to do, you know, you set up your space, you make it comfortable, you raise the vibration, you make it be what you need for you to feel protected and comfortable. And then you put your mirror up. I usually tell people, leave your mirror face down until all your intentions and space are set, because that's a very physical representation of something being closed. I actually also do the same thing with a Ouija board. When I am done, I will turn it over physically and be like, done, and then I'm putting it away. And it's just one of those things where if you're concerned about doing something not completely, such as closing a session, you're physically doing it, even if you're saying the words in a way that you're not sure you did it right. There is not a specific prayer or script that you have to say to be able to protect yourself. It's just setting intentions. So everybody does it differently. And when you have something that comes through that is not a comfortable thing, you just stop and you close it. You know, I'm physically putting my mirror back down to say, hey, I'm done right now. That wasn't okay. And I will pick this back up when I'm ready to communicate again.
Right.
If you want to read, yeah.
It's very important, right? Like you feel that closing part.
For me, it is. Now, see, the thing is, it depends on the space. So we're in a space where I'm comfortable leaving my mirror out and open all the time. Mm-hmm. So this is a space that I do energy work often. This is a space that my altar is in. This is a space that I do a lot of spiritual work. I do readings in this space. So for me, I'm the only one that really hangs out in here. I don't think my cats are scrying in my mirrors. I haven't ever thought about that till just now. Thank you, ADHD. But I don't think they're a low vibration animal either. They're pretty magical, in my opinion. But like for me, having my mirror open here in my space isn't saying I'm openly communicating with it all the time. It's just ready for me. But yeah, I do feel very strongly about saying, hey, I'm starting a session. Hey, I'm ending a session. We do that in investigations. Hey, we're here. We introduce ourselves to a space. We're here to talk to you tonight. And when we're done, we say, hey, thank you for being here. Hey, we're done right now and hope to catch you next time. Stay here. Don't go with me.
Yeah.
Exactly. No falling home. Yeah.
Exactly.
What kind of manifestations does the mirror produce? Like, because I don't know anything about scrying, really.
We're going to have a scrying session, Chad. You're going to find it fascinating. So a lot of people assume because it's a mirror that you're only going in for a visual manifestation. A lot of people think that you're going to physically see in the mirror every single time. And the reality is it's just an intuitive tool. Uh-huh. Some people are psychic enough that they absolutely have no need to have a mirror. I like it because it's a very intentional focus piece. So with all of the distractions that I get in my lovely busy life, I know when I'm sitting down in front of a mirror, I am intentionally trying to communicate with spirit. Now, sometimes it is visibly things I see in the mirror, like little figures or little blips of color or mist, or sometimes we get faces. Sometimes you get other random things. Some people get like full elaborate, like I see a meadow with trees in the distance, and it could be anything like that. And that's all possible to see in the mirror. But it's also sometimes for some people, they're like, well, I'm doing it wrong. I was getting a visual, kind of like mentally a visual in my third eye. I don't think I'm doing no, that's right. If you're getting something, you're getting something. And then
Right.
it goes a little bit further. And one of the things that I make really clear in class when we set intentions, a lot of classes I teach are at conventions that are at a haunted location. So I step it up. What are you okay with and what are you not okay with? If you're investigating, are you okay with somebody talking in your ear? Is that going to break your concentration and freak you out if you hear a voice talk to you? If it freaks you out, then set your intention. Please don't talk to me out loud. That's going to upset me. I just want a visual. They can give you things that are touch.
Right.
If touching freaks you out, set your intention. Please don't touch me because then I'm going to like run away and be scared and that's it. Hi, Alicia. That's another one of my really good friends there. But yeah, so, you know, are you okay with a taste or a smell coming through while you're trying to connect with spirit? I never really had set boundaries on those things before because I don't get those very often. I'm more of a claircognizant where I just get information, or a clairvoyant where I get the visuals, the sentience where I get the feelings. I'm really glad I don't get the taste. I was teaching a class one time and the lady's like, I literally feel like I taste somebody number two'd in my mouth. That is really gross. And I'm like, oh, I definitely don't want that. That's a boundary I want to set. I mean, if it was lemon cake, I'd be all in, but definitely don't do any gross things.
I've experienced everything, but never experienced the taste thing ever.
Yeah. Can you imagine that being your gift? How fun is that?
No, that would be definitely. I think it'd be finding a new hobby in that case. Yeah, definitely unpleasant, huh?
Yeah.
So these manifestations, they're just for the person doing it, or can anybody see them if there's a manifestation? Or is it just
so I actually am very old school when it comes to what you do scrying. So your energy, your mirror. And the reason I feel that is because someone else trying to read your same mirror is putting their experience in the mirror with their own intentions that may affect what you're doing. So I generally make a hard rule. And again, this is my personal choice. I make a pretty hard rule of you don't scry somebody else's mirror.
I see.
So even my mirror here, this mirror is absolutely connected to me. It's not something that somebody else is using. It's not something that, you know, it's like your pendulum, your dowsing rods. You've put your energy into these things. They're energetically connected to you, and they're not going to work the same for someone else unless you clear the energy off. And do you really want to when you're connecting easier each time because it's your tool? You know, your tarot cards are your own. You don't go handing around a deck of tarot cards and say, hey, Chad, do you want to use my cards for a reading today? You know, that's just something we don't generally do. And I feel like all of those tools are the same way. I don't give you my magic wands. I don't give you my, you know, my crystals. It's a kind of they're connected energetically to me.
Well, this is all educational to me because we go from a scientific basis, of course, when we investigate, because I'm about as sensitive as a rock. So I tell everybody it's true. So these tools, like the mirror, like where did you acquire the mirror? Do you mind telling the story about it? Like, is there a specific?
I actually make mirrors. I actually make the black mirrors. There's several different ways. So you can scry in a regular silver mirror. So technically any mirror, and if you think about it, you start looking at like some of the superstitions and things over the centuries related to mirrors. Mirrors have the ability to make connections. Your silver mirror in your bathroom or your bedroom is getting an energetic imprint every single day that you look in, and you use that mirror for whatever your intentions are. Most of the time, we're just looking to make sure we don't look terrible, you know, but you can use your mirror for other things, even if it's a silver mirror in your house.
Have you guys ever done that where you put your hand like behind an object in front of a mirror? You put the object like a sheet of paper like this or something like this, and then you put your hand behind it, and you can actually see in the mirror around the object and see your hand, which is impossible.
Yes, and it's because of the play of the angles that you're looking at. It's absolutely scientifically explainable.
Is it really? I mean,
yes.
I mean, to me, that like, because I mean, if it was a direct reflection, I mean, how could that be? But yeah, I thought that was interesting anyway. That the mirrors around corners like that.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. But yeah, there's always been a a thing with mirrors.
Yeah, so like you look at places where someone's passed away early on in the 1800s, 1900s, they covered mirrors because they wanted people's souls to be able to go to the right place. Something made people believe that was a possibility, or something happened somewhere that, hey, we need to be careful of that. There's somewhat of a truth or a story behind every superstition that happens. Whether or not it's accurately projected is where we start going in down a rabbit hole of trying to prove or disprove all of those things.
Right.
But
people's reflection, I know that there's a lot of phenomena that does center around mirrors, like.
Absolutely. So imagine, I work at Edinburgh Manor. We have a mirror upstairs that actually gets a lot of activity, but almost every single person that comes in over all of the days and all of the years of investigating that place have energetically imprinted on that mirror because they've looked in it. Whether they're trying to have a connection. Now, people do scry in that mirror. People have had pictures of other faces looking back at them. I've got a picture on my phone that actually has somebody where the guy in the front was taking the picture, and the guy that's standing in the background, his whole face is missing, but you can see kind of the blurry form of whatever. He doesn't even have a chin or anything, and it's distorted. And they were just taking pictures while I was giving them a tour. And then they came back the next day and they're like, this really creeps me out. Can you please make this be an explanation that's like a camera glitch? Because I don't want it to be something else. And it's fascinating, but you think about it, and there's energy that's there. So we don't even think about most of the time, what do we do with our energy? What energy has affected our space? People that come in your home and look in your mirrors are leaving an imprint in your space and in your mirror. There's a lot of energy all over everywhere that we don't even take consideration of all the time.
What about physical, anomalies on surfaces, like handprints and things like that? There's something weird that happened the other day. There were these handprints on my television. This sounds funny, but this has happened like day before yesterday, and there were no hands. I mean, nobody's put their hands on my TV, and
somebody did.
Something did, and we put all our hands up to it. And it's not our handprint. It's pretty bizarre because I know that nobody came in and just stuck their hands on there.
Right.
So, what do you think about stuff like that? Like, does that ever happen with the mirrors and stuff?
I have yet to have something like that happen when doing scrying. We've had some really weird instances where we've had multiple people using separate mirrors get same images. I've also used mirrors for remote viewing experiments where you're at one of my really good friends is a gentleman named Richard Estep. You may have heard of him. He's a very famous author, paramedic guy.
Actually.
Yeah, he's awesome. He actually had me do an experiment for him. He was at a location at an event. He didn't tell me where. And he basically said, I'm going to have a mirror. You're going to have a mirror. We're going to see if we can make a connection and see what you can pick up with the people that are in the space that I'm at, and you being at home in Iowa. So I have no idea where he's at. Ended up being he was in the UK. I didn't even know that. And I'm recording my sessions. I did like 6 sessions with 6 VIP groups. It was more scrying than I should have ever done in one sitting because it was like 6 hours by the time I was done. And then I was like a zombie for like 2.5 weeks. But I'm sitting there looking in the mirror and I'm getting things like there's a lot of red carpet wherever you're at. I'm getting red carpet and big wooden doors, and some of them are curved, and something about little gold plaques on them. And there's some wooden staircase that's really ornate, and I don't know what it is, but it's there. And one of the people that's sitting in your table group right now actually has had an experience already while they've been there at that event. And they haven't told anybody about it yet, but it's true. And they had an experience and it had something to do with their room. And he's like, why are you getting this information? This is crazy. And the lady's like, I actually had a thing that keeps opening the door of my room.
Oh.
The physical descriptions I had were all correct. The stairs had red carpet down them through all of the main areas of the building. The hallways were red carpet. The doors were exactly what I saw. And then he's like, no, but the staircase is stone. And he took me on a tour after the sessions, and he's like, oh my God, it's wood. I've always thought this was a stone staircase. This is a wood staircase. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen it. And he's trying to show me on video. And I'm like, this is really weird. But some of the messages that came through had nothing to do with location. So I had one instance with one of the groups where I don't know why, but I'm getting this little bird and it's tapping its beak on the window and there's a woman right there and this bird is very important to her. Something is sad, but something is very heartfelt and this bird is absolutely important, but I don't know why. So I don't know if I'm picking up a spirit at location or if it's something that's a message for somebody. And this lady just comes talking about her brother passed away in the last month and a half. And the day after his funeral, this bird started landing on the railing of the deck at her mom's house. And it's coming up to the window, and they said this bird is Tommy, and the mother talks to this bird every single day at the window.
Oh, wow.
And I've never met this woman in my life, and she's in a country across the ocean, and here I'm getting an exact connection with something that is very personal. And, you know, I'm just using the mirror as a tool to connect with the things that are over on the other side, and it just is. So it's not even necessarily full-on spirit communication. It can be used as a tool even for things like remote viewing or trying to identify things about a location or other aspects.
So you feel it's really no different than even some equipment that people use as in like as being a tool.
My team, absolutely, we use equipment. We're a very equipment-based team because we're not all intuitive. So I feel very strongly. In fact, I don't use a lot of my abilities to the full extent unless the team wants me to, because I don't think it's fair for me to be having an experience that we can't prove. And so I'm very much about, okay, you know, I could sit there and say, hey, I see a man at the end of the hallway and he's laughing at you because you can't see him. But what good is that without them being able to have something to prove it? So what are we going to do to test? Is there really a man down at the end of the hallway? Can we get him to talk through a spirit box? Can we get him to interact with a REM pod? Does he have an effect on the EMF of the building? Is a tripwire going to get set off by him? You know, so we try really hard to incorporate a mix of intuition and equipment because my husband doesn't have gifts. Well, he does, but he's in denial, and that's just what it is. I know a lot of people in denial. I'm sure Chad's probably one of them.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe.
But,
see,
you know.
See, some of the stuff she's talking about, I'm going, yep, because I've experienced it, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've done I don't like mirrors. I don't know why. Never have liked them. But I did scribing one time, and I saw something so unique, bizarre, that it just kind of went, damn.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I will say that much. I'm not going to take up the show saying my stuff.
Anymore, huh? Yeah. Interesting stuff. So do you run across a lot of spirits that are like pranksters? You run across a lot of that? Do you during your investigations?
Oh my gosh, yes. I actually compare Paranormal Investigation to Monsters Incorporated.
Yeah,
you know, because they start out the movie and all of their power is based on scaring the children, and then they find out like laughter and humor actually is like 10 times more powerful. And I think Paranormal is exactly that.
There's a lot of things out there with a sense of humor.
Absolutely so ridiculous sometimes that it's you just can't. You can't explain it. So I give tours all the time. I used to take my spirit box on my tours. I cannot take my spirit box on my tours right now because one of the spirits in one of the rooms likes to swear and say say very inappropriate words about ladies. I used to be a B word every time I walked into the room, and people were like, oh my gosh, did that box really just say that? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not at you. It's at me. It's okay. And then it became the next letter of the alphabet, and it was saying a C word. And I'm like, that's not okay. I can't explain that to a 7-year-old child and her mother as to why that word's coming out. So please don't use that one. But they were starting
called a concubine yet?
I have not. I have not.
It's true. Yeah, I was like, who? What?
That's fun.
It was just funny to me. I know I'm warped, but it was funny. It really was.
We just did a session the other day where, the box will say my name and then say some profanity, like just off the wall, very inappropriate.
Mine told me the other night to go myself.
Oh yeah,
we get that too. Yeah.
I was like, okay, then.
I mean, with my name, it's like direct, same voice each time too.
Yeah.
So, very distinguishable. So yeah, there's some colorful stuff that comes through the box. Definitely.
Yeah. So
But
we
it's still
do
funny.
sometimes
It's still
really.
funny.
Sorry, I was gonna say we do some really strange things sometimes. Because I don't like typical standard investigations. I don't want to ask the same questions that every 365 other people asked every day of the year. So we come in with things like, hey, let's play Go Fish.
Yeah.
We're going to put the spirit box in the middle of the table and we're going to have our hands of cards. And if anybody in the room wants to help me out, I'm looking to get a card from Denise. And if you could tell me what number to pick or what card I want, that's what I'll pick. And you sit there, you wait a minute and it goes 4. And I look at Denise and I say, hey, Denise, you got a 4? And she's like, rah, 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 and hands me a 4. They'll cheat for you.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's a very intelligent response. Yeah, I'm not finding out anything amazing or historical, but man, they'll cheat for me. And that's kind of awesome.
I'm going to go grab this picture. It may take me a minute. I'll be right back.
Absolutely.
It's from Jennifer, the handprint picture.
Oh, on the TV.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm just going to the background. Let me go get it.
Not a problem.
It's pretty funny, actually. Maybe it's the one that there's one where this cabin that we were investigating, it had a bunch of handprints on the window that appeared, and one of them was giving us the finger. And
nice.
That's pretty
Of
funny.
course, that's what they do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and we had another really fun one. The location that I work at, because sometimes they just want to be playful. There's children spirits and things like that. So we do play hide and seek. You generally don't know that you're the person that's it until you come back from the bathroom at the back house and you find a spirit box sitting on the table and everybody's missing. You just know that you just got put as the person that's it, and you got to go find your teammates. And we usually will grab a piece of equipment that lights up, usually cat ball or K2 or REM pod or something, and you have to put it somewhere in the vicinity of where you are so the spirits can give you away.
Right. That's fine.
And then the person that's it gets the spirit box, and you basically get to go through and hope that they're going to honestly lead you through the building. Now, that doesn't always happen. One of our instances, the guy had the box, and he's like, so is there anybody on this first floor men's side of the building? And the box is like, nope. And then you hear somebody laugh from that side of the building, and you're like, okay, so you're lying to me.
Yeah. That's funny, but some of them are rats, man. They'll rat the other person out. That's funny.
Oh yeah, and that's the hope is you'll give them up. The spirit's going to help me find them, but that's not always the case. It all depends on who you got and what day it is.
There are a lot of spirits, even the more negative ones, almost have like a childish type disposition.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Which one did she send you? There's a funny one I was just telling.
This is the one I got.
Yeah, see the one in the middle right here, giving the bird. It looks like a bunch of skeletal hands, and then there's one.
Yeah.
There flipping us off. Yeah, that's funny.
Of course.
And
there's a nose and eyes and everything there too. I see it. I don't know if y'all do or not.
Yeah, I do right in the middle.
They weren't there, and then all of a sudden they were there. Kind of deal.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Some cool audio from that investigation too, where I'm sitting there, laying in there, talking to something. Trying to talk to whatever's there, and it says my name real clear, disembodied voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what Jennifer has to say. She said,
so many gigs of archive stuff.
Need to get it out. Yeah. She said these prints appeared out of nowhere and tried to wipe them off inside the house, but they weren't inside, so we went outside.
We were just investigating it. It was vacant, and the owners wanted to investigate it, but they never said that they wanted what was there gone. They just wanted to see if there was anything odd on, so we kind of documented that. But there's something definitely strange going on. Whatever's there seemed like it just kind of had a sense of humor.
Yeah, that's at the location that I work at. Alicia's been there with me.
Oh.
Okay.
So we have a room called the Blue Room, and not only can you usually hear things moving around on the same floor, we've actually started having people in the last year that are actually getting clips and footage of shadow movement in the room while you're sitting in the room, and that's pretty cool. The one actually looked like it was a guy with a hat, not going Hat Man. It just happens to be a guy with a hat, or something else that's moving between the bed and the window of the Blue Room, and it's just fascinating.
There it goes. So you're laid up for a minute. Oh yeah. Yeah, and spirits are usually good at doing that. Like just right out of sight. They'll do stuff in the next room and make all kinds of racket, and you go in there, and nothing will move in front of you. Sometimes stuff does. But yeah, it's all fascinating stuff. All this stuff is interesting. So
I have a question for you, Kat. Have you ever got scratched? Like,
more times than I can count.
have you ever got scratched and not know you got scratched? Didn't feel it or anything?
Most of the time it feels like burning, like your skin gets really hot and it just shows up. I've actually even been hit in the face. I've been pushed. I've had a lot of things. If I don't feel it, I don't know to look for marks. I've had marks, but then I'm like, did I do that? Did my cat do that? If I can't explain it, then I write it off as non-paranormal if I don't know it in the moment. Because I'm one of those people that if I can trip on something, I will. You don't even have to put it in my way. I'll find a way to make myself get hurt. I don't know. It's not intentional. It's just my gift, I guess. That's one of my other gifts is accident prone.
I was sitting at a table and I thought I had a rash or something, and I did this. And I asked my friend that was sitting next to me, I said, what is this? Because I'm forever running into something, grass or whatever. And it was a scratch. I didn't feel it, didn't know it was there. And I knew it was not there an hour before then. And every time I go in a place that makes me aggravated or something, or I know it's like a spirit in there that's just kind of pissy, you know how they were in life, how they are in death, it raises. It's strange.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
So we have a room at the manor that actually, we have a couple places that get physical. One of them is a men's room up on the second floor, and it only seems to happen to women. So we don't know if he doesn't like women or he just really wants to get their attention. But Edinburgh Manor is like an old county home. It's an old poor farm. And a lot of the people that were living there were, insane. They were absolutely incurably insane. And so if you start thinking about it, we can go to the classic GA episode that was filmed and, the girl gets scratched on the neck and she, it's obviously those demons again, shame on them. Or in my thought process is, if you think about it in the aspect of a child and they don't understand that you can't see them. So they could be jumping up and down in front of your face. And if you don't have the gifts to see them, you don't see them. And
I can, but I do block a lot because I see too much, and it kind of gets to me. Yeah.
So imagine Chad can't see them.
Yeah.
And then they're standing in front of him, jumping up and down, and now they're going, Chad, 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 Chad. I'm right here, Chad. And you can't hear them. The next thing they're going to do is touch you. That's what a child does when a child wants attention.
Yep.
So is the touch, whether it's a scratch or whether it's a poke or whether it's whatever, is it intentionally to harm you, or is it because I've been trying everything for the last 20 minutes and you're not paying attention to me? And in my opinion, in a place like where I work, I think it's the latter. I think they absolutely are just trying so hard to get your attention that sometimes it ends up as a scratch mark. And so I don't run away and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I want to know if they can explain to me how, without a physical body, did you just put a mark on me that takes a physical interaction?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How in the world, with no hands, did I one time get hit in the face and have a flat mark on my face? My cheek got hot, and all of a sudden you could see fingers. And it's like, it's fingers.
I got clocked good. It was right before a show. I was kind of sitting there relaxing, and it felt just like something had socked me in the side of the temple. I mean, hard. I mean, really hard. And it left a mark and everything else. And, it was bizarre. And I've also been scratched. Had marks, on me from things that are paranormal. And that is interesting. How do they do the footstep manifestation? Actual.
Yeah.
So then that opens the question: is there something out there? Are these tricks? I mean, are they something to make us relate to them? I mean, obviously there's something because there is no need for. I mean, there's no physical matter there that we know it that like we know of that is making these noises or leaving these marks. So what's your theory on that? I mean, what do you feel is?
So I have several. One of my things that I'm very big on, because one of my gifts is I don't necessarily see like clear apparition figures, things like that a lot of clairvoyants see. I see kind of a vibration where I get like a color or a wave staticky visual that represents some sort of an energy that I'm seeing. And I don't always know male or female. I can't always say it, but I'm like, but it's over there and I can see it and I can feel it. And it's a fast vibration and it's something. And then we'll go over and we'll get something with equipment. And
Right.
so, something's there. I think because we're limited to this amount of frequencies
Right.
and, we only can see and hear and experience this much.
Oh, yeah.
And the world is like this much that
Well, they
we
said
just can't interact with those frequencies. Maybe they do physically have an energetic matter. We're just not capable of experiencing it, but some psychics are. Some people are.
There's an investigation we did in a historical library where we had equipment all over the library, and whatever was there must have taken up space because we could track wherever it was because after reviewing the evidence, and it was either downstairs or upstairs. It wasn't in all these different places at once, and it even like at one point came up the stairs, and it sort of moved objects around and very, very. I mean, we documented this very, very well, and it was only at one location at a time. It was never like it didn't just even disappear and appear over here. It's like it had to travel wherever it was going, and I thought that was interesting.
Right.
They take up space, and and it's like the spectrum that we see. Like if you took a magnetic tape and strung it from coast to coast on the United States, we would only see like 3 inches of it or something. Like I mean, that's
probably
spectrum.
Probably. Yeah, and then the other thing that I also believe is interdimensional overlap.
Yeah.
So some things are existing side by side with us in a space that we are only in part of that space.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that some of these phenomena people are witnessing are, like you said, overlapping of realities or something where there's something in a different reality doing something that's affecting ours, and they think it's a ghost or they interpret it as something else. But there are definitely there's a lot of phenomena like that.
Yeah.
Like residual stuff. Even though I know I'm on the fence about the residual stuff, because if something wants to get your attention, what would be the best way to do it? By doing the same event over and over again. A lot of things they'll actually respond intelligently that I've noticed.
So I do think there is a difference between a residual and a intellectual entity. And the reason I believe that is because even ourselves in our life, currently in the state that we are in right now, we have already left energetic imprints in spaces that we have existed in.
Right.
I have experiences where I'm hearing things at the manor when I'm alone, and it's either a mimic or it's my son was here at one point, he shouted for me, and I'm hearing that replay.
That's you.
So my children have heard me talk at my house.
But
Mom, where are you? And I'm not here.
That could be almost like a scare tactic, because there have been investigations where someone heard their child screaming for help, like
right,
just like them, and it was screaming for help, but the child wasn't there, and it's like stuff like that. Some of that could be a scare tactic, maybe not,
sure.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
but I think that we try so hard to explain it as a paranormal instance in some cases that some of the things. They're beyond our scope of understanding,
sure.
But I think we as people have more abilities and connections than we know to use anymore, because society has ingrained us to be working and paying attention to 30-second videos and doing all of the things that we do now.
Sure.
We're so limited in our abilities because we're not using them.
This is a unique time in history, because it's the only time where society has dismissed or tried to dismiss the paranormal. It's kind of like an anomaly. Like all human beings before us, they believed in the spirit realm. They believed that these things were real, and I mean, without a doubt. And this is kind of like a short-lived anomaly, last few years, and for the last less than 100. But because you go back like early 1900s, there was a big, the spiritualist movement was still going.
Absolutely.
Corner, and there were, people believed in this stuff, and then all of a sudden, it was taboo to believe in it, and that. But that's never happened before. This is kind of like a unique, new thing that's happened. It never happened before in human history. So there's always been in this, and just that alone we talk about, the scientific community not accepting the paranormal. It's like, I mean, how much more evidence do you need to gather before you can accept it? It's just, I mean, I think we're way
I
beyond
think
that.
it's more about each person needs to actually have an experience to believe it. So,
Well, yeah, I believe everybody has, whether they are in denial or not. I think because about everybody you talk to, they say, "Oh, I don't believe in that stuff. Never had an experience." But then they'll come to you later and be like, "Well, there was this one time where this happened and that happened, and this person passed away, and I woke up and they're at the foot of my bed." Something like that.
right.
And yeah, it's very. I truly feel that everybody, or everybody that I've ever talked to that claim to have not had an experience, they always end up coming back and talking about something that they couldn't explain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think a lot of people have experiences that they just don't want to believe it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just yeah, and then there's the whole skeptical thing. I don't believe in true skeptics, because that goes, I mean, even they have had experiences. It's a fear of what exists, I think, and the unknown, and like, I think the paranormal is extra terrifying to people because they can't control it, I think, and
Right.
something that is very frightening to them, and it points towards there's more out there in this existence than what we experience right here.
Right.
That's frightening to people. They like the black and white scenario. They don't like the
Oh, yeah.
box.
Absolutely.
Uncomfortable for them. But yeah, it's a part of. I feel it's a part of reality. I feel that it's part of actual reality. So, I never was one to deny things that are real. That I truly see evidence of. I don't know how people do that. I would have had a much easier life, I think, if I was able to block out things that made me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You just have a gift. I mean, I look at that as like a gift in itself. It's like, well,
I thought you said you didn't have any abilities.
Well, I don't. I'm just saying.
You're already proving otherwise with the words you're coming out of your mouth and stuff.
Thank you. I've told you this before. You don't listen to me.
That I don't deny reality, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's fascinating. All of it's fascinating, and
Absolutely.
I can imagine
Yes.
not doing what I do. So,
I love hearing people's experiences, especially what I call the aha moment. I love it. I just
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that people can learn from each other in this
Oh, yeah.
field. There's
All
been
right,
a lot
let's
of people. Oh, but flip side.
Oh, they were saying, yeah, everything's not demonic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we all have experienced that. Everybody thinks everything's demonic.
Yeah, that's true. There are some things that I've witnessed that are definitely
Bad.
demonic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But very some of those instances like possession, they're very rare, and
Right.
people don't run into those every day. But there are things out there. I mean, I was on the fence about all that stuff too until I had a couple experiences that I really couldn't. That what I was dealing with did not behave like a human being. It didn't
Right.
have mannerisms like a human being. It knew things about me that it could possibly have known, and it knew things about it talked about God and all kinds of stuff. It talked about witnessing the creation of human beings. All this stuff, and it was just a very unique experience, to say the least. And
Right.
one I won't forget. But so there. I mean, not everything's demons, but definitely there's something out there that I think is a human for sure.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of things out there at all different energetic levels.
Yeah,
so
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we don't understand. We don't understand what like I guess Google just proved that the multiverse is real with their new quantum computer. That utilizes data from different realities, neighboring realities, and they actually were able to prove this. So, it's fascinating how complex everything is. How the more that we learn or discover scientifically, the more complex everything is. And here we have all these mirrored realities of our own reality, but then there's other realities out there with different life forms, I guess, in them, and
Right.
it's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, but it's fascinating at the same time.
Absolutely.
They're out there, and yeah, and so like when people say that they look for dead people, I mean, some of these things are very much alive. They're not dead. I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Absolutely.
yeah. So you personally have not experienced the big D word, huh?
I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, it's not bad, the dreaded D word.
Yes, it gets kind of deep about 11 o'clock here. So, yeah.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah. Didn't mean like that.
I've experienced some very dark things. I have experienced things that are absolutely not human and never have been human.
Okay.
But I can't say necessarily that they are that. So
Human, like fallen angel, you mean?
I've experienced other creature type things that visually I can't explain them in any type of human form. So
Right.
it is just what it is.
Some of these things must physically, I mean, if we could see them, they must look a lot different than us, you'd think.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
I've seen weird otherworldly things since I was about 3 years old. When Gwen said she blocks a lot of things. Yeah, I do too.
I have to, or I will lose my mind. I'll be real with you.
I think it's funny because I sometimes when I'm open and I visually see things and I'm like, so is there actually a person walking in the ditch right there? And my husband's like, yeah, there is. I'm like, okay, good. It's not one of those again. Or he's
I have to ask you then. I have to ask you, when you're going down the road and you see stuff,
yes.
Do you yell out, oh no, it's the person? Or do you try to figure it out? Because mine looks so real sometimes that I don't know if it's real.
In the middle of the road, like
yes,
yes,
or deer. Yeah, or deer, phantom deer.
I've had all kinds of things. I have had all kinds of things. And it's funny because some of them are not human or animal forms that I recognize in any way. And you sit there and you go, I'm not going to say a damn thing.
Nope,
I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep rolling and so they just kind of stay with me. And I know that I've seen some weird stuff. And, when my husband first came, my husband's from Scotland. You'll have to talk to him sometime. He's really awesome to talk to.
I'm obsessed with Scotland, so you don't get it.
Their outlook on the supernatural is fascinating,
Paranormal is part of the reason we're together. He moved over here to marry me. We investigated Scotland. He investigates here. He's the other co-founder. He's my partner in crime. But one of the times that he came through, I would pick him up at Chicago O'Hare and then drive back to Iowa because it was just a much better affordable ticket to drive to Chicago. Yeah. And then I'm driving down the road and I'm like, there is some sort of creature climbing on that stop sign on the side of the road on that one. I'm not saying a damn thing. I'm just going to keep going. We're leaving that one there. Because I'm like, I don't want him to just absolutely think I'm psychotic. He does put up with my crazy. He doesn't discount experiences that we've had. I've had things where I visually have seen something and he hasn't seen it, but he sees the effect of what it has on another physical object in the space, and he can't explain it. But he sees that the after effects of something that I've experienced psychically. So
he's still with you. So there you go.
He's still with me.
Has got something in common, at least,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it would be difficult to be with somebody that wasn't into this whole. Could you imagine being with somebody that was a skeptic? Well, I mean, that couldn't happen.
One of my best friends is one of the most skeptical people that I know, and I say that the world needs us both because it brings us back down to reality to have to try to explain the things that we're experiencing in a way that they can connect with it. Well, and they won't most of the time, but every now and then you get something and they're like, "Oh, I can't really tell you what that was about," and that's one of those aha moments.
And there are experiences like that are quite common, where that it isn't something that there's a lot of possible explanations. Like there's stuff that's like right there, right up in your face. And that those experiences, there's really not much. Not a whole lot of room for skepticism, especially when they catch it in real time. I used to take skeptics out, and I don't do it anymore because it upsets them so much. But when something happens in real time, and then they listen to the audio and they review the evidence after the event, and it's just total shock because we didn't have a little child with us that spoke, or
Right.
something that moved or something visual, or
Mhm.
and it's like that's the skepticism goes right out the window at that point.
But they had to be there for the experience to believe the evidence after.
Yeah, I mean,
There
because
you go.
presenting evidence, there's always the question whether it's legitimate or whether
Yeah.
it's been doctored. And when they're there to experience it real time, like one of my friends was, he was a skeptic, but he didn't necessarily believe in the paranormal, and now he's really into it now. And I took him out, him and his girlfriend at the time, and we captured something, in real time, and that was it for him. He was just like, wow, but he didn't have like a fearful reaction to it. He was fascinated with it after that.
Right.
And but there isn't really, like, when you catch it real time like that, there's no, it cuts the possibilities out, There's, I keep hearing coming from one of you guys. Well, it's hard to say. Usually there's something that pipes in.
Kat, I'm gonna tell you, by the time this show comes around on Monday nights, it's a lot sometimes.
Well, there's usually something pissed off around here. Usually.
Yeah, well, and we talk about religion and this and that and the other.
Oh, yeah,
we have all kind of weird stuff. I have had a jar of candle just roll over on my stove, and I'm like, okay, did you need something? I mean, you cooking me dinner? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, my house is very active, but I have a lot of things here that make it be that way. So I collect dolls. No, most of them are not haunted, but some of them are. I have some other random objects that are. People like, how do you live that way? And I'm like, well, I have about 250, maybe closer to 300 dolls at my house, including a life-size medical mannequin named Linda. She hangs out in a wheelchair that's from 1861, sitting in my living room. So
does she roll herself around?
No, she's not haunted. She's just cool and she scares people. But she's holding 3 dolls that are potentially active sitting in her lap.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, 2 weekends ago, I was at an event at Old Baraboo Inn in Wisconsin. I had gone antique shopping with my friend during the day before this event, and I picked up some more dolls because that's what I do. And this one friend of mine, her name is Anne, she was there. She doesn't like dolls, and I'm like, you just gotta hold her. Look, she's got teeth and everything.
She's probably tripping like, no.
And she's like, I will hold her. And she starts connecting because she's also very intuitive. And she starts like, I'm going to send you a message. I'm actually feeling like I'm picking stuff up off the stall. I'm like, that's why I bought her. Because she absolutely was throwing energy at me. And I'm like, I haven't even experimented with her yet, but we got a lot of information. Now she's sitting on the couch in my living room. And last night, while my husband was watching a movie that was very much based on shadow people, the little cat ball's lighting up next to her because apparently somebody turned it on. And I didn't know.
Imagine that.
What you watch on TV triggers stuff that's around.
But yeah, it's fun. Always entertaining here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, never a boring moment for sure. But there's a lot of I've had a lot of stuff happen during broadcasts, like this one a couple of years ago. There's a box of stuff behind me sitting on the floor, and you can see it in plain sight, in the camera feed. And there's some noises going on, and the box like slides backwards about 6 inches, and stuff like that. And we've had stuff happen, right, Gwen?
Absolutely.
Oh, we've had Oh, and by the way, there's a hotel that I did a live broadcast from, and I was walking around, and I still
yeah. Well, I got to transfer my files. Oh, and I got a new. Oh wait, you have my new phone number, right?
Yeah.
Gwen, yeah, of course.
I do.
Okay, yeah, because I dropped my phone and kind of ruined it.
Oops.
So I got to transfer all the files over, so I need to do that.
Yeah, my advice on that is going to be you're not supposed to do that.
No.
Yeah, okay. That's all I got for you. No.
Yeah, like expensive habit, to
Yeah.
our phone's an expensive habit. Yeah, those things are expensive. But yeah, fascinating stuff. Thank you for joining the show, though. Appreciate it. Very, very fascinating.
Absolutely.
Yes, especially last minute. You don't know how much that helps. Yeah.
We like that. But sometimes those are the best shows, the ones that you last minute.
We'll pop. Yeah, we'll see somebody pop on and we'll go, hey, you want to come chat? And it's just the best thing ever.
Because,
hey, I'm happy to pop on again sometime for you. We barely touched on stories, so.
Anytime you'd like to come on, that would be awesome.
That'd be cool. Let us know.
Okay.
good conversation.
I'm gonna pull you down
And-
if you will hold on and talk to us afterwards, Chad. If you'll hold on when you get done too.
Sure. Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and end it, and then we can. But I'm gonna pull you down, Kat. Just hang on a minute for us.
All right.
All right. Well, she's
Hey,
cool.
well, yes, very cool, very cool. Interesting stuff. She does a lot of interesting stuff. Well, definitely love to hear from everybody's perspective on paranormal and listen to their experiences. And there's a similarity in a lot of them. Imagine that.
It is.
Well, anyway, so this concludes our show, right? It's Chasing Nightmares.
It does. I'm gonna pull you down and you stay put. So we need to talk a minute too. So, all right, guys, girls, just hold on a minute, and we will see you guys next week.
Yes, absolutely.